Hello everybody on YouTube, this is Super New10doh, and welcome to my new discussion video where I'm going to be talking about Breath of the Wild's Master Sword mechanic. First off, before I say anything else, sorry about the lighting, the sun is a bitch. Alright, so the Master Sword. It's a very essential weapon. Well, not essential, but in most Zelda games you can't progress unless you get the Master Sword, unless you like mod or hack the game or do some kind of like glitch that basically bypasses getting the Master Sword. But in Breath of the Wild, the Master Sword, it is, for lack of a better term, breakable. According to the game, it runs out of energy and becomes unusable after a certain point, after a certain amount of usage, and basically becomes unusable for 10 minutes while it recharges. A lot of people seem to be very mixed on whether or not this is a good thing. And a lot more people, from my experience, seem to be very pissed off about it. Now, I'm going to go over two ways that having the Master Sword work this way makes sense from a gameplay perspective, as well as providing a theory for how it could make sense in a narrative perspective. Let's go with gameplay first, because that is the one that is definitive fact, not theory. Gameplay perspective, look at how Breath of the Wild is played. Breath of the Wild is played in such a way that if your weapon breaks, you have to be able to think on your feet and pull out another weapon and like do the job. It is basically a constant battle between your enemy and your own durability for your weapons. And you can use any weapon you want. You can use a fucking ladle to beat the shit out of people. You can use a spear. You can use a greatsword. You can use a mop or a broom. You can use a pot lid to bash the hell out of people as a shield. Like, there are so many things you can do in this game. Now, if the Master Sword was unbreakable, like it has been shown in previous games, what exactly would be the point to use a spear or a greatsword or whatever, you know, aside from maybe greater damage? But on the other hand, it may have greater damage, but it breaks, and the Master Sword in this hypothetical circumstance doesn't break. You'd probably use the Master Sword even if it's weaker because it doesn't break. You know? There would be no point to using any other weapon. And because the Master Sword has a ranged attack, there would be little to no reason to use a bow either. Like, the only thing you would need is a shield. And also, I don't know if this is also a thing, but the Hylian shield is also unbreakable in previous games and was stated to be unbreakable in Skyward Sword. And as far as I'm aware, nobody seems to be throwing a fit that that's breakable in Breath of the Wild. It takes a ridiculously long time, and you can just go buy another one for like, what, 300 rupees? But, yeah, it's... I don't know. But back to the Master Sword. The Master Sword is already broken in the game, especially if you've done the Trial of the Sword, where the thing is awoken 24/7. The thing has the full glowy thing, does 60 damage, does over 100 hits before it breaks, or runs out of power, and it only takes 10 minutes. In my experience, after I got the fully awakened Master Sword, I found little reason to use any other weapon, unless I was in one of those circumstances where my Master Sword ran out of power and I was faced with like a Lionel or a Guardian or something. You know? Like, I found little reason to use it. And as much as I like Breath of the Wild, this is kind of a problem for me. It's just, yeah, there's little to no reason to do it. They have it that way to basically, like, if you're, like I said, if it breaks in the middle of battle, well, you gotta use other weapons. That's just how the game is designed. So, now I'm going to talk about a possible narrative reason for why the Master Sword is the way it is in Breath of the Wild, and why it hasn't shown any of these capabilities as far as like being breaking and running out of power in previous games. So in Skyward Sword, Link basically creates the Master Sword by infusing the Goddess Sword with the flames of Din, Nayru, and Fiore, and getting the blessing / power of the fourth goddess, Hylia. This blessing / power of Hylia is what allows the Master Sword to repel evil. A lot of people have this misconception that it is the third, I think it's the third flame that caused it, because it's like imbued with a holy light that demons revile. But the Goddess Sword already had that. The Goddess Sword just got powered up by the flames of Din. I believe that's the last one. Well, you can get any of the flames in any order, technically speaking. No. Lanayru is the last one that most people generally go to. Whatever. The final flame is what is commonly thought to give the Master Sword its power, and that is not the case. It is actually Hylia's power that gives it this ability to only be wielded by Link, and only and evil can't touch it. Like it slays evil pretty much. That is what is given its power. Now, Nintendo themselves have stated in interviews that the power of Hylia dwindles with the more the blood of the goddess is diluted with each passing generation. Breath of the Wild Zelda is the most recent incarnation in the timeline. And I'm not saying that, as it is the most recent game, although it is at the time of this recording. I mean that as Breath of the Wild was stated to be the last game in whatever timeline it is that it takes place in. Personally, I am a firm believer that it is in the child timeline after Four Swords Adventures. But that is highly debatable. Well, not highly debatable. Most of the evidence for the other two timelines are slim at best. But Breath of the Wild Zelda has the weakest connection to her divine origin. And my theory is that the power to repel evil, which is what that glow is on the Master Sword, my theory is that is tied to the power of Hylia. As Hylia's power weakens with each passing generation, so too does the Master Sword. The Master Sword in previous games did not have this limitation on its power, unless you can, kind of Wind Waker, but I'll get into that in a minute. It did not have this limitation on its power. But that is because Hylia's power was still flowing strong. This Zelda was not even able to tap into Hylia's power until her 17th birthday, and even then, it took the death of her father, her servants, pretty much her whole kingdom, the guardians sent to protect her, and the chosen hero of the Master Sword, whom she may or may not have romantic feelings for. It took the death of all of these people for her to unlock that godly power. And, some people might call bullshit because, like, Link is clearly alive. I think he did die. It's just he kind of got revived with the Shrine of Resurrection because, for those who don't know, resurrection does not mean near death brought to life. It means you are dead and you are brought back to life. Also, if he actually did die, this would make sense as to why he has amnesia beyond just, oh, he was in the shrine for 100 years and just forgot everything. When you die, the longer you spend dead, the more, like, memories you will lose because your brain is not active at all. So, that is the thing. Back to the point. Breath of the Wild Zelda has the weakest connection, so the Master Sword would be at its weakest, most vulnerable state. This makes a good degree of sense. And the only thing that originally the reason why I was thinking that the Master Sword was losing its power was because the Master Sages, for lack of a better term, that pray to keep the Master Sword at its full power, that were stated to be there in Wind Waker, might have died or might be on the verge of death. So whenever Link overuses the power of the Master Sword, they have to begin praying again to kind of have the Master Sword regain its power. But this is only a theory because the Master Sword in previous cutscenes of Breath of the Wild did not have the glow around the Master Sword, and in most games it doesn't have that glow. So, and the Master Sages, again for lack of a better term, have never appeared in any other game aside from Wind Waker, so maybe it's a adult timeline exclusive thing. So, yeah, that's my discussion on the Master Sword in Breath of the Wild. Let me know your thoughts on the Master Sword. Do you like how it is in the game? Do you wish that it was more breakable after you get the Trial of the Sword thing? Or do you want it to be unbreakable like in the days of old? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!